Okay.
And you're good to go.
Okay, real good. Well, as I said, I'm happy to be back here. I see many of you that I see weekly and some of you that have joined us for the first time. If you're here for the first time, my name's Cheryl Cortese. I'm a national marketing director and have been that with the Juice Plus Company now for 34 years. It's going to be 35 years this coming January. So amazing experience. It only gets better all the time. It's been just and continues to be a wonderful way to interact with the world and to protect our own health, as you heard tonight, and really to help people as well as ourselves create that additional and necessary income that we all need. So tonight, I thought we'll have some discussion on where we are, where we're going, in all directions, you might say, from both, a business standpoint to conference, of what your thoughts are. Uh, Kelley and I were talking just a little earlier about some of the things that were discussed on our leadership call. We were going to talk about a few of those. Before we go forward, though, one of the comments I wanted to make is as I was listening to Cindy talk tonight, and then, of course, Yvonne, Kathy, all of you, but did you hear how, if you heard Cindy, she's talking about not just her own health, but that of her family. Look at how it improved everybody in the family. I listened to Yvonne, and here's somebody that got, wonderful things that were great reactions that she didn't expect, and is able to stretch that out amongst people that she cares and loves and comes across. So for all of you, that shared tonight, I think it's just, I wanted to underscore that, it just affects so many people as you start consuming the product, sharing it with people. And the results are always so interesting to me, because whatever the body needs, Juice Plus seems to go and, help support and help your body handle whatever it has to handle much more efficiently. And of course, with this product and the power of it and the research behind it and the years of experience and all the data that's cataloged at this point, either on video or through our company, as to the great results that people have, it lays the foundation for a massive business for all of us. And whether a person is wanting to just start, and this be a part-time adventure, that's, I think, how most of us started. That's how I started. And then all of a sudden it turns into a major career that then stretches out across the world. At whatever level you choose to play, it's available, and it's available with support and community. But also, as you heard, as people have spoken, is that, and we hear this, now frequently, and not only on these calls or other calls, but as we talk to people during our day, we're all coming out of, what has been the most unusual experience, I know, for all of us in our entire history, that in my memory, certainly, as far as my lifetime. And so many things from so many different directions. Certainly, the pandemic has been a massive challenge, and we're still reeling uh, as we are trying to pick up and move out of that. We look at, the other things that are happening to us, inflation, and just not knowing where that's going to go and how that's going to stop, or when it's going to, cap, you might say. The concern of, violence that's out and about. So one of the things that's been now certainly recognized, and they're studying and we're hearing about, is that for all of us, we kind of have like it's like one of my friends, I think it was someone in New Orleans that I was talking to, not part of our business, but he was saying, do you think as a country we're all kind of like in maybe even a little depression? And then someone else saying, I think, it's kind of like post-traumatic stress disorder, but mild. I think we're all experiencing that feeling of reentry anxiety, and yet we want to be out and about, but there's just that little feeling that doesn't feel so good because life has been altered so much in such a short period of time. So we wanted to talk tonight with you all, and hopefully you all comment as well. But how do we, more or less push that invisible kind of shield that's going up out of the way, and move forward into, really taking advantage of not only being a support to other people, but helping people step out as well. So, Kelley, I know you and I were talking before this, as to one of the things our um, Sean Hopkins from the home office, and Sean's had many titles. I think Sean is now head of all North American sales. He's been COO of the company. He's, I think, chief financial officer as well. But he went to the DSA meeting recently, which is once a year, and that's the Direct Selling Association meeting. And of course, that's kind of where all of the companies who are in this profession come together and more or less talk about how is the industry progressing. And so, Kelley, just share with him one of the things that you said stood out to you, because it certainly stood out to me as to what people are really needing right now as we lift our businesses up again. And one of the things we've been very, very blessed is that everybody in the Juice Plus company, as the pandemic started, everybody rallied. They came together. Our business lifted actually in a major way, and we have all, both corporate and field, need to really be congratulated on the manner in which it was handled and supported everybody in a wonderful way. But what were you sharing, Kelley? We were talking earlier about.
So he was talking about meetology, and it's really meeting with people in person. And now that we're allowed to kind of go out and have events, just having that connection with people is what I love about this business. Salads in a jar, or connecting with people, just making a one-to-one and planning to meet for coffee. It's so much fun to really have a real conversation. And there's nothing like being in person. Zoom is one thing. We've taken a lot of advantage of it. It's nice for bringing people in from all different areas together, but there's nothing like connecting. So think about, how are you connecting with people? What are those conversations? What opportunities do you have to go and network and get into a different group? One thing that we did through the pandemic, which was really interesting, is we started doing this cold water dip, cold water immersion, which sounds pretty horrible, but there's many health benefits from it. We started doing it twice a week in the ocean last year in May and went all through the winter. And it is unbelievable with how many people are doing it. And I think part of it is that what people have missed through this isolation is the love and connection of mankind and the positivity of helping people feel good, because there's so much negativity in the world. And we have all different walks of life that show up. Last Wednesday, we probably had 40 people that went into the ocean. The water is warmer now. It's now 60 degrees. You have to stay in at least 2 minutes for the health benefits. It's whole Wim Hof science. We have one lady, she's in her 70s. I'm trying to get Taffy to come join me. Actually, everybody's welcome to join. And people keep coming back. And I ask, why do you come back? And go into this cold water. There might be waves. It can be really challenging. You can wear booties on your feet. And they're like, because afterwards I feel so good. It's a way to reduce your inflammation. You release a protein in your brain that doesn't exist in Alzheimer's and dementia. And it helps take your WAT, which is your white adipose tissue, and turn it to the BAT, which is the brown adipose tissue. So the health benefits are immense, but the community and the connection of these people is it is contagious. So I think they would give out a beanie for people that showed up 3 times in the winter, and they gave out 54 beanies. So people just keep coming back. And I think the biggest health benefit is the connection, that meetology, that being with people, like they hang out and talk, because that's what we've missed. So what opportunities do you have to put yourself in an environment with more people? Connect with them, really say, how are you? What's going on in your life? How can I help you? And what fuels me, what I love about this business, is connecting people to solutions. And
Well,
we have solutions.
we obviously here in LA have an ocean, but it's not cold. Okay, so, and then that really, I think what I'm hearing, it's not just people getting together, it's being re-energized by something that's very energizing to the body. And I think, I didn't know that we were going to have this example, but it's what's so interesting about it is that for all of us, and I think the message here is whatever energizes, because we have gotten out of the habits that we had before the pandemic, the rhythm, you might say, of life, and the rhythm of our businesses, and how we moved about throughout the world, and that rhythm energized in itself. And so what Kelley just shared is certainly something where people shock themselves back into being energized. And it sounds amazing. I don't know if I would survive, but at any rate, it's the whole message is, what can you do that would take you out and about, that would re-energize, so that you begin to form those habits again that'll be very fruitful, I guess you would say, not only from a personal standpoint, but from a business standpoint as well. So when she said meatology, when we were listening to that call, I thought, I'm gonna have to spell that. I haven't heard that word before. So it's MEET, so meet with people, meatology. And what was being shared at the DSA conference was that right now we're in a place in this profession where we really need to go back to those very, very basics. Certainly social media is there, as Kelley said, Zoom, all of the things that we have, tools that have really blessed us during this time. But now, if we're going to really take advantage of what is just waiting for us outside your front door and down the street and in your town, is that we're the people that can fill the gap right now between what people really need from both a health standpoint and then also from a standpoint of economics. So if we look at all those things that I mentioned as we first started this call, that are really weighing heavily on people, certainly, there's still that thing about health. Let's protect your health. Let's do what we can. We all know people all around us, as well as many of us within our own families, that are having challenges. So what can we do there? Certainly a lot, if you listen to these stories. And then from a inflation standpoint, we're the ticket for people, because if people need and want the product, which they obviously do, then they can offset that with sharing it with others. So all of these things, the support of people in community, and really people being there for each other, which is very important at this time as well. And we don't see as much of that in the general population as we did in times past. So we fill that gap. So let's maybe hear from a few of you too as to what you're doing. And tonight it's interesting because I know many of you know Dr. Paul Williams, who's been with our business for so many years. He was our company doctor there at the Juice Plus Company for a number of years. And I had texted him for something later this afternoon. He says, "Oh, I'll get back to you. I'm at a salad in a jar party." Okay. And he said, it's just so nice to see people. And I think that's it, the smiles, the interaction. And that's what they were talking about at the DSA, is that the term has become meatology. We have got to get out and meet people. So who would like to share? I know Josh, maybe I'll just start with you, because I know Josh has been out and about, definitely here for the last couple of months. And it has really, it's really made a difference as far as his business is concerned. Being on it was solid, but now it's really starting to grow again as well. So Josh, some of the things you're doing? Where do you go? What do you do? What do you say? I see Samson back there tearing up the house, but
I've got a short window of time before he eats. Well, right now he's getting the mop thing. Hold on just a second. No.
Samson is a few weeks old, and he's definitely a baby, but a big baby with sharp teeth.
Okay, I got to work. Yeah, so basically, the big thing that I've been noticing is just the receptiveness to the conversation. It's like people want to talk, they just need to be engaged with. And so, you get out and you start shaking hands and saying hello and how's your family and how's your work. And the past couple of years create a lot of stories about how the family is, how the job is, how life is. And what I'm noticing is that there's so many different openings to introduce what we do. But the biggest thing about it for me is that the receptiveness. People are receptive to this in a way. I mean, I started doing this part-time 8 years ago, and now it's full-time for me. And in all the years I've done it, the thing that I have noticed now versus prior to the pandemic is the receptiveness to look at this, to see what it is, to investigate it. It's like every person I talk to is Curious George. They got to know what it is, how it works. And it's really, it takes a lot, I think, for all of us. For me, when I got back out there and I tried to get in the momentum of doing this again, certainly there was some anxiety there about how that process would go and what it would look like. And man, I'm so glad I did, because for me in the past couple of months, it's resulted in 4 or 5 new frontline reps. I've got old team members coming in, getting involved again. I got people being promoted, and it's like the whole business is coming back to life in a way that for me, it wasn't prior to. So I think for all of us, if you get out there and just start to have the conversations, you're going to find that you're going to have a very warm reception for people when you say, hey, this is what I do. I got fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and I help keep people healthy, and I'm also helping people figure out the inflation issue. And it's just so relatable for so many different people with where they're at in life right now. So
And I'd like to say this about Josh. He's always been very comfortable. Most of his business has been built out of when he went to the grocery store or the gym, or, in just that conversation with people. What I'm hearing and what I'm seeing, because I work closely with him, is he's, frontline to me, is that that, again, just putting me in front of people massively to tell the story. But it's that conversation, as he said, it's very easy to get that opening. It's very easy for many different directions as you have conversation with people to, bring it to Juice Plus, the Juice Plus business, or it fits very well right now. So Josh, if you look at your day, I know if I think about the people that are become part of your team recently, of course, there's Samson. You take Samson to the dog park every day. So what
everybody wants to pet a bear, so that does help. That people see a little baby bear and they're like, I got to pet the bear. And so if the bear behaves, the conversation usually progresses. But really, Aunt Cheryl, I probably got a routine a lot like a lot of people. I get up in the morning, I'll go get a coffee. I'll take Samson to the canyon. I'll let him meet some people, meet some dogs. I'll get in the gym. I'll run some errands after. I'll go to the grocery store. I just kind of live my life. And in the activity of living my life, I try to, and it doesn't come natural for me. I'm really much more, I would say, antisocial than social. But right now, due to life and due to necessity, I'm having to choose to engage maybe more than I normally would. And in that activity, I'm finding that whether it's at the canyon or the grocery store or the gym or the chiropractor's office or wherever, the conversation is, it goes very easily. People are very curious. They're very happy to get on the phone with you, or to watch a video, or maybe to join a Thursday night Zoom. And it just seems like that if I just keep the antenna up, keep the awareness on, that in the activity of living my life, I'm having the blessing of being able to build, what's turning into a big business. I mean, I had a guy that, as you know, I bumped into in the gym. He was here for a month from Sweden, financial guy, also happens to have a huge following on YouTube, big following on Instagram. We go meet at Sharky's. I have some lunch. The next thing I know, I'm at an Osteo Strong showing him some Juice Plus products. He's like, man, I needed something to plug into my channel. Now I got a whole team developing in Sweden based on a conversation I had at the gym and really one lunch. And so I think for all of us, if we just start to make the effort within the context of living our life, we will find that people, they want to do something. They're looking for something. They need to know about it.
And I think also they want the social connection. We all do. I find myself that now, wherever I am, I'm also looking for that conversation with people, just to have what I used to call a people feeding. I want to know how people are and how they're doing. And then again, just listening for when is the opportunity. Sometimes the opportunity doesn't arise immediately. Sometimes you make a friend, you're seeing them again, and it arises later. But, it's a matter of engagement. Are you out and engaging? So who might want to share with us what they see happening? And then we're going to have a few tips on what we need to be doing right now as we, charge forward. We want to, I feel like and I
Cheryl, you're muted.
accidentally did that. I'm sorry. Okay. What I said is I've been here 35 years now. And there is a feeling, Jay Martin used to call it as, you get the feeling. And there is a feeling and a realization that we're fixing to step up into one of those times where our business just has a surge. I used to refer to it as the wave is coming. The wave is on, okay? But there'll be a surge. So you will be part of that surge if you engage now with people and begin to talk and begin to share the story. And I know there are many times when I have to say, okay, I'm going to force myself out of the house, because we got in the habit of being in one spot and we got out of the habit of moving around a lot. So, it's almost like there are days when I have to structure that. I have to say, okay, I'm going here, I'm going there. And in that process, it really pays off in conversation. So who would like to share with us what you might be doing at this time? I didn't know we were going to hear about freezing ocean dunking. Okay, that obviously would wake you up and energize you. But who would like to share on what's happening for you, where you are engaging with people? What activities outside your home? What person-to-person activities are going on with you now that you're excited about? Who would like to give us some input? We want this one to be interactive tonight. Okay, your turn. Come on, don't be shy. Talk with me. Do I see Brenda and wanting to talk? Does you guys want to tell us anything brand new?
It's planting time, so I'm doing a lot of tower garden presentations and encouraging people. That's seasonally perfect right now.
Yeah, that's great. So are you having people come to your home? Are you having an event? What are you doing?
Well, I'm doing some people are welcome to come to my home. I have 3 tower gardens outside so far on my porch, and then I have 2 more still to set up. But I also teach a class once a week at a large grocery and health food store in a town about an hour from where I live. And people can come to that. It's free, and I bring some snacks, and it's nice, spacious area. And the tower garden's already there. It's been there since the store opened, not too long after the tower gardens were first introduced. So
I love it. And
people
so
can
that's
come
a
and
new
see it.
idea as well. Is that how did you make that connection with the store? They got the tower garden, and you probably helped them service it, so they let you tell people about how it happens, right?
Yes, and it helps. I keep emphasizing with them that it's meant to be a mutual benefit. It draws customers to the store, and and before the pandemic, I used to teach more classes there, and then that went into a lull. The tower garden was still there, and I would still come in and take care of it and harvest from it. And I also get, because it's a kind of a health food store, I get to promote the Shred 10 program there. I have handouts that people can take. I put a recipe on the base of the tower garden every week that people can see, here's what you can cook with the produce from the tower garden. And then I have information about the Shred 10 so that people can buy the food that they will use, the whole foods they will use during the Shred 10 there at the store. So,
That's great.
yeah.
So there's another idea for you. So very good. Thank you, Edie. I'm going to go back to Brenda, and I know that the two of you are, I've just started, so maybe you can give us some input on how you're engaging.
Well, I manage a self-storage facility, and so I have people coming into the office, and somehow I'm able to channel discussions. And so health is a big interest for people. And I've got one family that's a little bit destitute, but I'm looking forward to introducing it to them so that they can find a means of not only nutrition, but also getting economic benefit.
Well, great.
We
And
w-
welcome to our Juice Plus family, because you're both, I know, just started. Now,
Yeah.
Brenda, you were going to share?
Yeah, we were in a somewhat of a seminar, I guess, over the weekend, and we connected with a lot of people. So I have 3 people I'm talking to in that group. 2 of them were going to be on tonight, but I'll have to find out why they're not here.
Well, it'll happen. It'll happen. So, but that's great. And so what you're saying is that during your day, and I heard you say that, you know, people really are, they're open to talking about health and what
Yes.
their health is. Yeah, that's really, as Josh said, very, very receptive. Thank you so much. Who else would like to share with us tonight? And then I have a
But
few.
Cheryl, I can just tell you that I
Okay.
had 4 wonderful conversations today. I just started going back to a networking group here in Indianapolis that I've been a member of for years. And I did stop for over 2 years due to COVID. I would attend on Zoom. My husband has an autoimmune situation. He's on prednisone. So I just decided, with an invitation from one of my friends, I'm going to just jump back in there. I was scared just because I am wearing a KN95 mask when I go indoors. That's to protect my husband. Of course, I'm the only one, and I just shared with them why I'm there, and they're just very receptive. People were so nice, and I've got 4 lovely people to follow up with. So it is, you're right. I mean, face to face is the way we were designed. So we just have to figure out how to make it work, right?
And I think it's important to share too. I mean, you're right. Face is the way we were designed. That is the foundation of our business and how it works. And right now that is going to be very massive and powerful for us. But Candace, I think it's important that you said too, is it feels a bit scary. You know, we still feel a little bit, you know, there's a little trepidation, and that's okay. You know, that's the other thing to realize, is you may have to just, you know, push yourself a little. We all have to, but it's going to be helpful to everybody else. And I think this is as important for community as it is from a business standpoint. So
Yes.
thank
And
you.
Cheryl, I was reminded, and it's so true, that just to share our why, you know, that wonderful book by Simon Sinek, that, you know, the why,
Mhm.
start with why. And I just found if we are authentic, people almost always respond well to that. And the only thing that really scares me is just other people's judgment. Because some people are really crazy about, they think a mask is, you know, they're just crazy about it. And I just share why I'm doing
We
it,
all have
and
to, yeah,
I'm
we
there,
make
and it's all good. It's all
yeah,
good.
and whatever, you know, is comfortable. But at the same time, I really commend you for stepping out and going back to the group, because I think people getting together is very important, just from a mental health standpoint as well.
Mhm.
You know, I think for all of us, and that's something that I think as soon as we recognize that and say, okay, I can handle this, then
That's
we'll
right.
do a lot
And you
better.
find out who your friends are. They're the nice ones.
Who else could share with us? Thank you, Candace. Thank you. Who else would like to share with us what you're doing as far as your activity, engaging with people? Who can
Cheryl.
give us a little more input? Let's see. Did Alex, did you
Alex.
pop
Cheryl.
up on the screen on purpose here? How you do? It's good to see you.
I'm doing good. For me, the conversations that I'm having, at least very recently, is that I live in Los Angeles and people are starting to go back to work, and Los Angeles is very expensive to live in, and a lot of my coworkers are deciding they'd like to live elsewhere. But the ones that aren't willing to leave California or Los Angeles just yet, they're looking for something. They don't really know what it is just yet. And so that kind of opens the door for an opportunity to have a conversation with them about what it is that I'm doing outside of work, and why it seems like I always have something going on, and like I have a plan. And that's been, for me, one of the best things, because previously, before COVID, everyone kind of was just in this little, like, I have my job, I went to college and I was happy. I'm obviously on the younger side, so people coming out of college kind of feel like they're getting paid every single month, so they're happy. But now, as COVID has progressed, people aren't feeling the same ways. They're looking for a way to even get to the office now, because before we were all working from home and now we have to drive there. And with the fuel prices the way they are, it's very difficult.
And so just talking to people about how they're handling their life at this point gives you an opportunity. Well, then, Alex, that's great. I think it's amazing, because I live here in LA too. And, it is very expensive, but it's expensive everywhere. If you look at the comparison of where every American was, 6 months or a year ago financially, you need 500. Now it's looking like $600 a month more to live the way you lived a year ago. So, and like you said, now you work from home, but now you have to get in the car. And I would imagine if it's like me, in filling my car up the other day, it's a good 2 to 3 times more than it would have been when I was getting in that car before the pandemic. So,
Gas prices and inflation are perfect conversation starters. You're never going to really have an issue starting a conversation with that. But a stat that's been very interesting to me is that the average household now has less than $9,000 in their savings account, which means they really don't have a backup plan in the event that something goes truly wrong in their family or with their health. So if we can prevent that from ever happening from the health perspective, we're really going to save some lives.
that's beautiful. Thank you so much for that input. So appreciated. Anyone else would like to share with us how you're in a
Hey, Cheryl.
awesome, Dave.
Awesome, Dave. It's really interesting. I do live, and this has really made a difference for me. So I started social dancing when my daughter was going to get married. And so I was dancing 8 times a week. And during the pandemic, when everything shut down, everyone said, Dave, we know that you're a hiker. Can you lead hikes? So I lead 5 hikes a week. I'm 68. And I could go up the 3,000-foot mountain and go down 3,000
Wow.
feet and do
There's
stuff
some of
like
us just
that.
trying to get up the stairs.
And most of the people can't do that. And they go, Dave, how come you're able to do that? And how come at 68 you look pretty darn good? Hair's going away, but I can't do anything about that. But so I do that. And what happened during the social dancing is people knew that I was the one to go to for talking about health and natural health. And they saw that I danced and danced well. So I just do life and I add things to life. So I'm on a couple of board of directors. One has 238 tower gardens, and I have the connection with them there. But basically, and then also I do health coaching as well with the Crossline, and we do connections there for product. So that's what I've been doing.
That's great. So basically what you're saying is you're out and about all the time so that you can talk to people.
Always, always.
That's great.
Yeah.
Who else? Anybody else? We have time maybe for one more. We're just about to get over time, and I wanted to give a few tips too. So anyone else?
It's Erica here in Oakland.
Okay. Hi, Erica.
Nice to hear you all. So I am a psychotherapist and I'm a massage therapist trained in New York. And I realize people really are touch deprived. And so I'm starting to offer some classes and workshops and talks about how can you give and receive good touch right with your home pod, so that people can receive the very thing that maybe they're a little remiss to do out in the world. Also, the cost of massage is sometimes pretty high. So I'll be giving some talks and just like building influence with people who wouldn't normally speak to me in all these different spheres. And I'm on a swim team. So I love that share from the person that swims in the cold water. And I've been swimming in the open water around here in the Bay Area and also in pools. And so this whole thing of like this swim team, this group of like 100+ people are getting to know me over time. And, I bring the gummies, I talk about it. There's people who have kids, and it's just like this slow rolling experience of developing influence in a more organic way than, being really loud and proud about it. But it just seems like that's the thing that is needed right here, right now. And so I'll let you know how it goes. I'll report back.
Okay, but I think that's wonderful too, is this, and as you heard, developing influence by being out and about and connected to people and whatever it is that draws you. What have we heard tonight? Yeah, hiking, swimming, in your workday, talking to people in your life, going through life, talking to people. And I think we really have to be cognizant of doing that. And that's one of the things that we've gotten out of the habit of, is we've all been home. And I think just from the standpoint of mental health for all of us and for the people we come across, it will lighten and brighten people's day, certainly. But it's a lot easier to make connections. I was having a conversation with a woman sitting next to me the other day. I was waiting for an appointment, and before we got up and left, she said, "Well, take my card. Let's have lunch together or something." We were talking about a little bit about her children and how they ate and things, things like that. And it was hard to, with her kids. And normally that conversation would have kind of just drifted away. Maybe I would have given her my card or information to look up Juice Plus, but now it's more of, let's be friends. And I think that's what we need to realize, is right now is just get out and make friends. So in closing really quickly, what I wanted to say was, what would be the strategy now for really lifting your business? Well, certainly one of the things you want to do is more or less go back and re-recruit your team. Call somebody who's on your team, maybe that's not getting out and about, take them to lunch, help people, get back into the rhythm of habit of being out and about. So you really want to go back and re-recruit, you might say, invite the people in your team to be out and about. So, you go back to all your existing team members and find out how they're feeling, what their thoughts are, at what level would they like to play as far as your business is concerned, and help them realize the opportunity that's available now. And revisit, as you heard Candace, Dr. Corson say, revisit their why, our why. Why are we here? What do we want to do? Not only for our own health and well-being and for our own financial security, because everybody feels unstable right now in all those areas. What is it that we really desire? Talk to that person about what their desire and what their fears are. It's almost like, locate the wound and let's see what we can do to help that person heal that. Find out what they truly want, not so much what they need, but what they want, and invite them to be part of the plan. Look at, what is the plan going to be? What are the logistics? Where are we going to go? Who are we going to talk to? Get the list together. The next thing to do would be to go through any preferred customer list you have. If you have preferred customers, and, call them, congratulate them, look, check in on them, and just, find out where they are, how they're thinking. Invite them to be part of the mission, to be part of, just the whole movement of good health and helping people feel secure. Find out what they love about the product. And then the next statement is, who do you know that would really need and want to have the kind of results you've had? Or who do you know that you would love to see, feel secure as far as their health or their lives are concerned? And then you want to always be making that dream team list and add to it. We call the active contact lists. Is that, when you meet people during the day, get their information, write their names down, invite them to something. Don't let those conversations drift until, they just kind of disappear and you haven't captured that information. So you want to develop a strategy then for three-way calls. It's like Josh saying, if he meets people, he introduces them to me. So you've got your buddy, get a running buddy that you can come back behind you and also tell the story with you and answer questions. So for all of you, on this line, if you have to call all the way up to me, you all have leadership behind you that can help you. So, and again, I always referred to this, and this 35 years ago, I started talking about this, is what I call my on the street warm market. And that's making friends with the people that you meet during your day. And that's what we were talking about this evening, was who do you meet when you're out and about? And through that, you acquire customers to keep your customer pool full. You let people know about your business, so you can also be keeping that new team member full, the partners, that pool. And then strategize with your online to help those people grow up through your business. So at this point, we are a few minutes over, but thank you all for your input, and let's all look for ways that we can not only go out there and do things we really enjoy, because I heard that tonight too, of people who getting back into things that they find great joy in. And that's what we need right now. Everybody needs joy. We need to go out and give a big helping of joy. So find out or think about what you enjoy, and then interact with those people who are in that area as well. So anyway, thank you to all the speakers tonight. Thank you to everyone for being here. And on this call, bring people with you each time, because again, the stories, we're all about the stories, and the stories make it happen. And we want to have on your calendar the Atlanta Convention, October 13th through the 15th. Jeff Roberti, who is upline to all of us, my sponsor, is going to have a big on Wednesday afternoon before the conference. He'll have a big leadership training. Those are always amazing. And then the conference, and then we're going to have a wrap up that's going to not only be a lot of fun, but there'll probably be a money giveaway. And we're just going to make it a party. It's time to have a family reunion. So put that on your calendar. That would be the big out and about place. Okay, it's the next conference, which should be October. So good night, folks. It's been a pleasure, and look forward to seeing and hearing you somewhere soon. Okay.
Thanks so much. Have a
Thank
great
you, Cheryl.
night.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Thank you, all of you that shared tonight.
Thank you so
Bye,
much.
y'all.
Awesome call.
Right.
Bye-bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Zaya.
Yeah, it's hard because that call is so late.